y'all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Holly and this is my booktube channel. Normally I have I'm sorry if you can hear dog noises. That is just a recurrent theme on my channel. If you've been here a while, I don't think there's been a video without dog noises. Just, you know, we just roll with it. Anyway, where was I? Right. Usually I have a cup of coffee and I invite y'all to grab the same, and by all means, whenever you're watching this, grab some coffee. But as I'm filming this, it's later in the evening. I just got home from work a couple of hours ago and I am filming this later in the evening. Luckily, it is summer here in Texas, so the sun does not set for quite a while, so I can use the lighting while I have the chance, but that is why I'm not drinking coffee, because I'd like to be able to go to sleep tonight. However, I did bring some Sour Patch watermelon with me. Did you just see that dog shake? It's never ending. Never ending. Anyway, Sour Patch watermelon. How many of you love Sour Patch watermelon? In my opinion, it's got to be watermelon, not the Sour Patch Kids with a million flavors. No, watermelon or nothing. So for today's video, I'm going to be doing my June wrap-ups. So all of the books that I read for the month of June. I think when I did my June TBR video, I had about 7 or so books selected, kind of based on readathons that I had planned throughout the month and different things like that, which is a somewhat ambitious list for me. And I didn't get as far as I wanted to, but I did get 3.5 books read this month, which I'm still happy with. It was a very busy month. We had multiple graduations, 3 or 4 different birthdays, just so many different things going on this month that did not leave my weekends open for reading. So considering all of that, I'm proud of getting at least 3 books read. The first book that I read in June is The Last Houseguest by Megan Miranda. Some of y'all may remember that I read her most recent release, The Only Survivors, and I didn't really enjoy that one. It was kind of a middle of the road 3-star read for me, but I knew she was a really good author, at least from what I'd heard, so I wanted to give her a second shot, and I'm really glad I did, because I very much enjoyed this one more so than The Only Survivors. I think I gave this 4 stars. Definitely not 3. It was either 4 or 5. I don't think it was a 5, so I'm going to go with 4. I'd have to check the Goodreads. But I really liked the plot. It was fast-paced. I'm not always the biggest fan of an unreliable narrator, but somehow in this story it really worked and wasn't annoying at all. One thing I loved about this book is that it had awesome summer vibes. It takes place in this coastal town, and the author does an amazing job of describing all of the summer vibes. I don't know how else to explain it. She describes all the beaches and the campfires on the beach at night and hanging out with your friends, and even summer storms and just everything. You could really picture yourself there in this coastal town with this character, and it is a great beach read, a great summer read. I love that aspect of it. Like I said, it was very fast-paced, very entertaining, but I think I gave it a 4 instead of a 5 because I was a teensy bit bored. Like, there were parts that were a little bit slow and kind of made me a little bit bored, but not so much to really dock it that many stars. All in all, I really enjoyed this one, and I will definitely pick up Megan Miranda books in the future. The next book that I read in June was The Only One Left by Riley Sager. This came out in June, on June 20th, I believe, and I did not think I was going to get my hands on it. I've told y'all multiple times what happened with Amazon when my mom tried to order it for me, but weirdly enough, she went on, tried to order it again, and it actually allowed her to do it that time. It didn't send her the email that told her they were out of stock. So I don't know. Maybe they restocked. She was nice enough to send it to me as an early birthday gift. My birthday's in July, so I devoured this and absolutely loved it. I've talked about it before. Riley Sager is a favorite author of mine, so it really didn't surprise me that this was a 5-star read, but I thought it was just so good, and to me, pretty different than any of the other books he's ever done. This was like a gothic horror, which I hated. The Haunting of Hill House, don't come for me. I just did not like that. DNF'd it, didn't find it scary at all, and I know that's gothic horror. So when I heard that this was gothic horror, I kind of like flinched a little. I was a little nervous, but Riley Sager did it right. So maybe I don't hate gothic horror, I just don't like that book. I don't know, but I love the way Riley Sager did it. This just, oh my gosh, like it had me, the twists. Riley Sager's like the king of twists, and I had figured out a bunch of them, and I was feeling super smug and proud of myself, thinking, man, I figured out a Riley Sager book. How many people can say they've done that? And then in the last 6 pages, this man threw me for a loop, completely threw in a twist that I did not see coming. I was shocked. It made the book so much better, and he still reigns as the king of twists. If you've never read a Riley Sager book, what are you doing? Any of his books are great, except you might want to steer clear of The House Across the Lake. A lot of people really didn't like that one. However, some people did, so don't necessarily take my word for it. But you can really start anywhere. They're not in any sort of order or series. This one is a great one. I've read all of them except The Last Time I Lied, which I do own now, and I'm going to get to that one soon, but really enjoyed this one. It was just so good. Like, oh my God. Ugh. It's so hard to talk about books like this without spoilers. You just have to know that it's amazing, and you really don't need to know any more than that, because you just need to jump on and enjoy the ride for yourself. There you have it. That's the only one left, by Riley Sager. Next up, I'm so excited I found the time to get to this book, and that is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I know, I think I'm like the last person in the world to read this book. It went around, I want to say maybe last year. I forget when exactly it came out, but everybody loved it. Everybody raved about it, and I just never got around to it. And I've loved Grady Hendrix books in the past. I've read several of his. I don't think I've gotten through all of them, but I've gotten through a lot of them. I think the first one I ever read was The Southern Book Club's Guide to Killing Vampires. Loved it. Was hooked on Grady Hendrix from that point on, and I'm really glad I got to this one. This one is awesome as a summer read as well, because it's set in like the late 1980s. Well, I guess it starts out in the early 80s, kind of just the whole span of the 80s. And as I was reading this book, it was like going straight back to my childhood. Everything the author was mentioning, all the pop culture, the like gadgets and toys and things they bought as kids, and even going to roller skating rinks. I can't even tell you how many birthday parties I had at roller rinks. Oh my goodness. And Swatch watches were mentioned. Totally had one of those. Just, it was like a blast from the past. And I'm not even an 80s kid, I'm a 90s kid, but I think a lot of those trends and toys kind of drifted into the 90s as well, so I definitely had a lot of good flashbacks. And I don't know how Grady Hendrix does it, but he manages to write books that are simultaneously horrifying and hilarious. I really don't know how he does it, but he manages to do it every time. It's always funny, it's always horrific, and there's always some sort of deeper overarching theme that I think so many people relate to and identify with, and I think that's just why he's a great author. He and Riley Sager are just always competing in my brain for top spots. They have awesome books. I highly recommend this one if you have not gotten to it. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. I really don't need to say more. So there you have My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. And I know I told y'all I read about 3-ish books. When I say ish, I mean I've read part of a 4th book so far, and that is The Senator's Wife by Liv Constantine. Liv Constantine is a sister author duo. That is their pen name, and Danielle from Danielle's Books and we decided to buddy read this one this month, but we were messaging about this the other day and we're both on the struggle bus. It is one that we are both contemplating DNFing. It's just getting really hard to get into. The loose premise of the story is that there is a couple, a married couple, and they got married after a couple years after this tragic event took both of their spouses' lives. I won't say exactly what happened. So their spouses died and then they got married a short while later. And the main character Sloane has lupus, and she is going to have this hip replacement surgery, and she runs this charitable foundation, but she knows that after the surgery she's going to need a lot of help, and her husband, being a senator, isn't going to have the time to really help her. So enter Athena, the home health aide. She gets hired on to help Sloane, and the synopsis says that it's not long before Sloane starts suspecting that there's something going on between Athena and her husband, and there's also like a bunch of drama with this other politician's wife who's kind of hitting on her husband, and it's turning into a very domestic drama type of thriller, which is a little bit hard for me in general, and this one is not picking up very quickly, and I'm starting to wonder like where the thrilling part is, because right now it's just kind of like drama. I don't know that there's a lot of thrill in it left, and I'm sure Danielle will talk about her thoughts on this as well, but she was kind of feeling the same way, and she was saying, man, there's just a lot of politics in here, so some people really don't like that. Totally get it. And I was actually watching Olivia with Olivia Reads a Latte, her latest vlog. I'm filming this on, what's today? June 28th, so still a couple days left in June. By the time you see this, it'll be June 30th, but her latest vlog that just came out today or yesterday, and she read this one and DNF'd it quick. So it's not just me, it's not just Danielle. Olivia DNF'd it as well. She said it started out really good, which I agree, and then close to halfway through, she was like, yeah, I'm done. This is boring. So I don't know. I'm still debating. Danielle and I are both still debating on whether to power through or just put it down. Haven't totally decided yet. I'm on page 105, so, you know, I feel like in the first 100 pages, if you're really not into it, I don't know. So Danielle and I will talk. We'll figure out whether we want to keep reading it or not. But if you've actually read it all the way through, let us know. Should we keep going? Should we power through? Does it get better in the second half? What do you think? Let us know, and there you have it. That is The Senator's Wife by Liv Constantine. Well, that's about all I have for my June wrap-ups. I didn't read a ton of books this month, but I'm still satisfied with what I did read. Lots of great reads, really not too many complaints at all, so I had a good reading month. Let me know how your reading month went, and if you read any of these books and what you thought of them. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye, y'all.